Hi, we welcome you to Bani Lehari Speaks the Naked Truth presentation. Today we'll be looking at the subject, philosophical principles for working together. Let me cite an example. Somebody says to me or to you, let's work together. That's one part. Then I say to you, let's work together applying the principles of philosophy. Now, these two statements that we have made, they are two different statements. They are not the same. Yes, we are working together, but these ones are not bounded by anything. But when we work together, bounded by the philosophical principles, then we stand a very better chance to achieve our intentions. And that is why today, we have to speak about the philosophical principles for working together. Now, that's a big difference. But before we move forward, we need to understand there are four critical binding points that underpin this philosophy. Now, what are those four binding points? Number one point is that when we come together, we need to do it willingly. Willingly, we need to come together. And when we are together, then we have to define our shared goal. It doesn't matter how many you are. You have to have a shared goal. A goal that when you start to work together, your focus and your anything that you'll be doing must be such that at the end of the day, we all reach the shared goal. On the mission, as we move on towards that goal, there are a lot of things that we need to take in cognizance. Let me say to you, when we have a shared goal, it's very, very easy to come up with solutions that can help us all the time to keep moving forward. When I cite an example, there are people living in poverty today in our land. In different countries, people are living in poverty. But these people who say we are living in poverty, they never had an opportunity where they are put together and they are taught to find a solution of getting out of poverty. Believe you me, I say this without any shake, any doubt. They will sit there, put their heads together. Poor as they are diverse God's people. There is just no way. A solution is going to come up from those people. Today we sit with a lot of people who are unemployed. Young people are unemployed throughout the world. Young people are unemployed. But had they had a chance to see all the young people who are unemployed, 20 of them or 15 of them or 10 of them come together and say, let's find a solution to get out of this unemployment situation. What can we do? I can guarantee you there is going to come up a solution in what they're doing. Today you look at governments in different worlds. Governments wants to make a difference to God's people because people are under their leadership. But if they are not going to apply the philosophical principles of working together as members of the government, they are going to fail. They are just going to fail because there will be squabbles, there will be quarrels, there will be all sorts of negative things happening in there. And that is why we say it's very, very important when we work together to incorporate the philosophical principles. Now, the next point that we need to really look at, when we come together to work together, we need to change. We need to change because our intention is our current situation. We are not happy about it. And we want to change the current situation for a better future. Now, when we come together, every team member should be willing to change. Either you change your mannerism, you change your attitude, You change the way you look at other people. There are a lot of things that need to change, because we cannot change a situation when we are not changed. If we are unable to change our personalities, we will not change any situation that we are faced with. So change becomes critical in this aspect. Now, the other thing that we need to look at is that we need to agree on a progressive action to be taken by all of us. No one must present himself or herself bigger than the other team members. No one must want to become more intelligent than other role players. No one must try to bring his own mannerism into the working together philosophy. We need to, all of us, come in here with a shared vision that this is where we are going, and yes, we have to talk about how we are going to go forward. Now, the last thing that we need to do, we need to set ourselves criteria of how we are going to behave, of how we are going to speak to each other, how we are going to look at each other, and we need all of us to be responsible for this shared goal. And it's gonna be very important that we hold each other accountable. That is one thing many people don't like, to be held accountable. But we have to hold each other accountable for the sake of allowing this shared goal we all share to be successful. If we fail to do that, then we are faced with a serious problem. Now, as God's people, we come from different environments. Some come from unhappy, sad, pathetic, painful environments. But they are willing to change what has happened to them for the sake of the future. You see, it's not wise to compromise your future by holding on to your past. It's not just gonna help. Some people, they come from a happy, joyful environment where they have been superior all the time and had nothing to do with other God's people. They were egoistic, very selfish. Whatever they had, they were not willing to share it with anyone. But now, when we come together and applying the philosophical principles, that type of behavior, you have to let it go. Because you are not going to be able to work together with anyone because of that attitude. Now, when you look at the book of Romans, God says, it says, when you look at Romans chapter 2, verse 11, it says, God does not show favoritism. Huh? God does not show favoritism in anything he does. Now, that says to us, anybody, it doesn't matter who you are, but if your intention is to one day see yourself progressive, moving forward, leaving a legacy for the generation that it will come after you, you have to apply what we call willingness. The willingness to work together with people you hated. The willingness to work together with people who really deprived you of so many things that you wanted to have in your life. The willingness to share opinions and ideas with them. But now, when we move from this point, moving forward into the future, we have to allow many things to let go. I must be prepared to listen to the person who once did all these wrong things. Think of any wrong thing any person has done to you. I must be willing, because we want to set up a new future. We want to set up a new slate in which both of us can operate. Because there's one thing people disregard, that we need each other on this world. There is nothing that any person can do alone. So for us to be more progressive and more successful, we need each other. And that is where we have to begin to learn to work with people we don't like. And that's why if God says 2 is better than 1, who am I to challenge that statement? Because I am a product that God created. I'm under God's control. I did not decide on my own to become a member of this family. It was God's decision. When I leave this planet, God decides that up to this point is the end of your life. Now, when God speaks to us as His people, we need to be highly attentive and obey what He says. Because He doesn't favor any one of us, but He loves us all. And you and I, we are on this planet on a mission, on God's mission, not on our own mission. That is why He says, many are the plans in the man's heart, but it is my will that will always stand. Now, as we move forward, trying to unpack these philosophical principles that underpin working together, one thing that we need to begin to do, which is difficult to many people, we have to disown the past. Huh? We have to disown the past. Some people in the world find it difficult to work together with others because of their past. They still harbor the bad, the sad, and the hate of what happened in the past. They have, over time, they have developed hatred towards other God's people. They move forward with hatred in their hearts, and many a time they disadvantage themselves for the future, for the better future. There's one thing I can advise you to learn. Learn to pass your past. Huh? Let's everybody, learn to pass your past. You have no power over your past. You cannot even change your past. My advice is open your heart and open your mind and acknowledge your past. Don't refute your past. Don't argue about your past. It's past. You have no power over it. You can't even change it. So don't allow your past to destroy your future. Today, many people in God's world, they live an unhappy life. Even if they had to work with people who are genuine, because they keep looking into their past. And every time they look into their past, they come out disappointed, angry. They block their future. So, find it in your heart. Promise yourself to do anything and everything in your power to redress the evils of the past. Yes, We cannot deny evils that happened in the past. But how long are we going to carry them in our hearts? You have to begin to learn. You see, that's why learning and continuous learning makes us better people. Learn to work together with those who wronged you for a better future. That can afford all of us to leave a legacy to the coming generation. This is an opportunity we have in our lifetime to work together. Forget what happened in the past. That's why the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. People who hate themselves find it very difficult to love other people. Because you must become the source of change. When you can't change your habits and your thinking, there is just no way you will be able to change the situation in which you find yourself into. So change starts with us. Forgiveness starts with us. Because we all have a bright, better future. All of us, we have a bright, better future. Now that is what must give us the inspiration of let the past go. And when we do that, then we stand a better chance to finally reach our destination. When we come together, I have to repeat this. No one must see himself or herself better than members of the group. If in your past you used to hold positions of better positions that made you despise other people, when you come to work together with other people, you must apply the philosophical principles. But if you are going to walk in there saying, I'm going just to work together with these people without applying the principles of philosophy, I can bet you, you'll never go a long distance. Along the way, you are going to crumble. Along the way, you are going to fight. Because you can't work together harboring anger in your heart. You can't work together harboring, your loftiness, demonstrating it without shame to other people. So no one deserves to be disrespected. No one. If our intention is to come and work together, all of us, we need to begin to learn to respect each other. Don't tell me about your qualifications. I'm not interested about your qualifications. Don't tell me about your financial power. I'm not interested about your financial power. Don't tell me you are whatever you can tell me. Please don't tell those things, because when we come to work together, all of us must start from a clean slate. Clean slate. If we need to choose leaders, then we will agree who will lead us. We are not just going to take anybody and say you lead. We must, all of us, agree that we are going to choose this person because of that and that and that to become a leader. We are going to choose this one because of that and that and that to hold this position. We all start from clean slate, clean slate. You are not going to tell me, yesterday I was your boss. So you want to use your past to come in here and destroy the future we want to build, all of us. So that is why it's critical to have a shared goal. All of us, we must know what is it that we want to achieve at the end of the day or at the end of this journey. That is what it's very, very important. And once the shared goal is clarified, then we look at how we are going to move on forward. And without any quarrel, without any contestation, We need to appoint people who lead within the team. And that is why we need to understand, man sharpens another man. Some people are going to learn from the others. We are going to share knowledge. We are going to share expertise. We are going to share, all these things we are going to be sharing. We have no time to look down upon other people, but we must have more time to respect each other. Many things, fail because people don't respect one another. But those are some of the principles that we need to put in place. That is why I strongly believe we can win many battles if we work together using the principles of philosophy. Now, what are those principles? Collaboration is number one. Collaboration means more than 2, 20, 30 people coming together with a shared goal, prepared to form teamwork, prepared to apply teamwork dynamics within the team. We are going to hold our hands together and move forward together. Those along the way who get tired, we need to give, we get to give them inspiration to regain their power to can move on. When others cry, we must be there to help them. When others want to give up, we must be there to motivate them and to become an encouragement to them. And as we do that, then we would achieve our intention. We have to put into the team our team work skills, our teamwork abilities, how we talk, how we do things. It must such that it demonstrates that all of us, we have a shared goal we want to achieve. And that's why collaboration becomes a very critical issue. Now, in a team, when we talk about teamwork, we are going to look at your ability to communicate with others. Your ability to compromise. Your ability at times to rebuke what you realize is wrong. As we do all these things, we are not doing it to spite anyone, but we are trying to be coherent in what we are doing, so that at the end of the day, we can achieve our shared goal. The other principle, communication. We have to foster open communication in anything we do. We must be honest. We must be respectful. We must communicate in a decent manner that every role player can really begin to realize. Even people outside looking from us from a distance can see that respect is what we live with all the time. We need to begin to trust each other. As we communicate, as we live together, as we apply the principles of philosophy, we need to trust each other. Trust is as a result of test. Along the way, we'll be testing each other. So that at the end so that when we begin to trust each other, it's because we have tested each other. Some people, you test them, and just on an onset, they fail the test. Now you can't trust when people fail the test. We must be like eagles. When the female eagle wants to mate with the male eagle, it will first test the male eagle to see if this is the right person I can live with, to see if this is the right person who can help me nurture the eaglets. So test is crucial. As we live together, we test each other. In different ways, we'll be applying the test to see if you are not a thug, to see if you are not you are not corrupt, to see if you really have the mannerism that it takes to build up what we need to build. So testing becomes crucial. So that at the end of the day, when we trust each other, it's because we tested each other. Now, when the team is built on trust, many things are possible to be achieved. What other people consider impossible, it will be very possible to achieve them because we trust each other. We trust each other because all of us, we have a shared goal. If you are a government, our shared goal is to see the communities which we lead to be equal, to see communities living in harmony, to see communities all enjoying the fruits that we as a government are setting up in our country. When you find a government, its people are struggling and suffering, and more so in their land, they've got resources, they've got minerals, they've got a lot of things that can better the lives of the people, but you still see people suffering, then you can't trust that government. You just cannot trust that government. It's the duty of the government to make its people to live harmoniously with each other, to be progressive in their lives, to do anything that it takes to better their lives. We cannot live on promises. When people don't trust its government or their government, there's not much we can expect. Another principle is respect. We have to promote respect to all diverse perspectives and ideas. It is our duty when we come together. The principle says to us, respect each other. We need to have a sense of forgiving, the sense of forgiveness, the sense of letting other things go. We must have the sense of trying to ensure that every member has a buy-in. Every member is happy about what we are doing. Every member, he needs to wake up excited that I'm going to meet my brothers and sisters, my fellow people, my fellow God's people, that we can all work together because anything we talk about, we agree. And those who don't see the same way, we talk to them separately so that they can see where we all want to go, where we all want to be. We are not going to exercise separate development. No, there is just no separate development when we work as a team. Anything we do it together. Because we understand that our success is in working together. Our failure is in working separate ways. And that is why respect becomes so crucial. Every time, the next principles continue to talk about the shared goal. Continue to talk about the shared goal so that along the way we need not forget what we intended to achieve at the end. Where are we all going? What do we want to see all of us? What is it that we have interest so that we can leave a legacy for the ones who are coming after us? So continuously we have to remind each other about our shared goal. And we must constantly align team members around the shared goal and objectives so that no one forgets Our language will be about our shared goal. Our commitment should be about our shared goal. The more we remind each other about our shared goal, the more we empower ourselves. So the next principle is to empower every member in the team. When we work together, if we are 20 of us working together, it's our duty to empower 20 of us. We have to empower team members to take ownership. Ownership in making decisions. At times you are going to sit and try to come up with a solution to make decisions for difficult situations. But we need to understand we all must have ownership. Now, we are talking about the principles of working together. Now, that's what the philosophy leads us. The next principle is accountability. Team members must understand there is no accountability without responsibility. When people are given the responsibility to lead, when people are given the responsibility to do certain things, those people, they must be held accountable by other team members. And when you are held accountable, you don't have to quarrel and grumble and try to complain as if other people don't love you. You have to understand, we are all responsible for the shared goal. So we are going to hold each other accountable for the shared goal. There is no other thing that we really will be talking or considering. Our interest is about the shared goal and the objectives of the goal. Where we want to see ourselves 5 years from now, 2 years from today, 1 month from today, where do we want to see ourselves? So that is why we need to be accountable. Those who who disregard accountability should be rebuked. And as we rebuke them as team members, we are not doing it out of loath. We are not doing it because we don't love them. We are doing it because they are getting out of the way, and we've got to bring them back into the team spirit. And that is why it becomes very important that we hold everyone accountable. Because when people are not accountable, I can assure you, you can go anywhere and check. People who have never been accountable, who are not accountable, there is nothing that they've achieved. Because they were not responsible. So they don't want to be held accountable. So as team members, we need to understand I'm responsible for other team members. I am accountable to other team members, and they are accountable to me as well. And when that time comes, I must gladly accept it. So if possible, I must refrain from doing things that we never agreed upon. The other principle is flexibility. People must be flexible. They must not be rigid. Rigidity does not build anything. Because situations that you are going to be faced with, they are not the same. So we can say no today to this situation. 2 months down the line, we say yes to the very same situation because we are flexible. The interest is whatever we are faced with, will it take us to where we want to see ourselves? If the answer is no, then we cannot move with it. It doesn't matter who brings it to our team. We are not going to accept it. Because when we analyze it together, we realize this will never take us where we want to be. So that is why I will say no. 4 months down the line, the same thing comes up again. We do the same, we look at it again, and we realize that, but there is an opportunity in this thing. And then we say yes. Because why? We are flexible. We have to be flexible. Because it's only flexibility that will keep us progressing every time. Progressing every time. Because we understand that things change. Situations change. The next principle is continuous learning. And you can bear out with me. Learning is for everyone who says, I want to be progressive. Learning is for everyone. Even those who say we are educated. Learning is a process that will never stop. Because every time new things come up. Every time new situations come up. Now, if we are not learning, continuously learning, then we'll never get where we wanted to see ourselves at one good morning. So every team member who is willingly prepared to apply the philosophy of working together, he must respect the principles that philosophy offers us in the process of working together. We've got to learn there are many things we need to learn. There are many things we need to learn. And we've got to open our hearts and open our minds to be willing to learn. Because we can only empower ourselves through learning. Another principle, there comes a time where we need to make decisions. There comes a time when we have to take decisions. When that time hits us and comes up, we must be prepared. We must be prepared to put our heads together and find an amicable solution that can afford us to move forward. Yes, there are difficult decisions that at times we can take among the team members. But we must be honest enough. We must be truthful enough to look at the situation truthfully. Not because this is the one who caused it, or this is the one who caused it. We are all in this boat together. If one person makes it to sink, we are all dead. So it is our responsibility to ensure that whenever we take decisions, we must not take decisions out of jealousy, out of spite. We got to be as honest as possible. So that even whatever decision we have taken, whatever it's going to cost us, all of us, we are going to stand with one voice to say, this is the decision we all took, and we stand by it. Now, that is a principle of working together. It doesn't end there. When we take decisions, we must include every member of the team. We don't allow passengers in the boat. Every person in this boat must be a role player. Because passengers in the boat are dangerous. Because when things fall apart, they point fingers. And they forget they were part of that decision. And when things fall apart, they start to blame, they start to point fingers. But they forgot that we were there. We sat in that boat. We never made any contribution. That is why it's dangerous. It's very dangerous to have people in the team who will at all times want to be quiet and not want to participate. And that is why earlier on I said to you, working together and working together, applying philosophical principles, these are two different things. We have seen it in a working together situations, and they never even lasted long, because some in that process, they did not apply the philosophical principles. Now that is why it part of the things that we as we outline and define our mission, every member in the boat must understand we need your voice. Because we all have to take decisions on this issue. So we need your voice. You are not going to be a passenger in this train. You are not going to become a passenger in this boat. We need your voice. Those who have a tendency of not showing up, those who have a tendency of not speaking up, then we are going to have a way of forcing them to speak up. If we are 20, we start with number 1, and we hear his or her suggestion. Then number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, until 20 of us have said something. Because we don't, in working together, we don't need passengers in the boat. We need people who will make a contribution. We need people who will think out of the box, because one of the things that philosophy insists on is we have to look at a situation and apply our intellect to the highest. That is why if you are a mediocrity thinker, you have to begin to learn to upskill your thinking capacity so that you can then make a meaningful contribution within the team. Now we look at another principle, transparency. All our communication, all our processes, whether we delegate, whether we make a decision, whatever we do, we have to be transparent. We have to be transparent. That's a requirement within the working together philosophy, that we become so transparent. There are nothing I'm going to hide from the group. Everything that we do them, or we do it out of transparency. People must trust what if you say to them no, they must understand, they must trust that it's a no. If you say yes, they must trust that it's a yes. You can't work with untrustworthy people. The philosophy rebukes it and refutes it, because such people are a danger to the shared goal. That is why it's important that time and again we need to revisit, we need to talk seriously about the shared goal, about our objectives that we have set for ourselves. Because we easily forget as human beings. We easily forget. So constant reminding, constant talking about our shared goal will keep us going. Will even to an extent motivate us to move forward. So transparency, it's a requirement for members of the team. The other principle is positive conflict resolutions. Each time when we have to resolve issues, we must be positive and be prepared to resolve the conflict. It's a requirement for every team member. When we address conflict, we must address it constructively. Now you understand what I said to you. You cannot bring into the working together philosophy grudges of the past. You can't. So that is why you have to be positive about the future. The past, we have passed it. So that is why it's important. We must learn to pass the past. So anything that we resolve, we must be very positive, very constructive, very accommodative, so that we can achieve, all of us, the milestone we have set ourselves to. Now, these principles, as I say, as I articulate them, I hope as you listen to me, they are talking to you as well, as much as they are talking to me, and as much as they are talking to everybody. Another principle, we need to celebrate success. We need to celebrate success, all of us. When we celebrate, we have to recognize and celebrate those small progressive achievements we attain. We're not going to wait until we have this big achievement. Those small progressive steps we achieve, we need to celebrate. It is our duty as team members to motivate, to bring confidence into other role players. So celebrating success becomes a very critical issue. Celebrating success on an individual platform, celebrating success on a general scale, celebrating success to all of us as participants in the team. That will bring positive environment that we want to see established. We can celebrate, the next principle is supportive environment. It is our responsibility when we work together applying the principles of philosophy to support every environment, to support everyone, to support anything that we set ourselves to do. Because when we support what we are doing, we are merely saying, together we will win. Because that is what we have set ourselves to. That this relationship we have is going to be an everlasting relationship. So we have to create a supportive environment for all of us. As we support each other, we are allowing ourselves to grow. As we support each other, we are allowing all of us to become better and better and better. As we support each other, we are stimulating development within team members. And that is crucial. no one can function when he or she is angry. No one can make a decision when he or she is angry, when he or she is not happy. So that is what we need to learn, that whatever decisions we make, whatever decisions we take, we must do it on a supportive environment that says, we are in this thing together. Without you, we are not going to achieve what we intended to achieve. So we need you all the time. And that is why we create the supportive environment. We must be customer-centric. We must prioritize all the time the needs of the people we are serving. It's our responsibility to prioritize the needs of the people we are serving, so that at the end of the day, we can deliver value to them. Obviously, if you are a government, your duty is to deliver value to the needs of your people, the needs of the people that you lead. Color doesn't become an issue. We all strive, if we are a government, we all strive to ensure that all the citizens of this country, when I say all, I mean all, the citizens of this country are treated the same. We are not going to treat one group this way, the other group that way, the other group that way. The philosophy refutes it. It says, no, that is not it. God does not favor. So we are the product of God. So in whatever we do, we must be honest, rightful, and progressive. Do it progressively. We cannot discriminate. You see, if you come from a past that was discriminatory, ensure that when you come to work together, the future will be collective. That's what the philosophy of working together requires from every one of us. So we need to be customer-centric. If we come together to say we want to make the citizens of this country's lives meaningful, all the citizens of your country, if that's the government, they must feel as they move forward that their lives are becoming meaningful. When we are unemployed and we come together to apply the philosophy of working together, we need to understand that we are working, our shared goal will afford that one good morning we must wake up finding our lives being meaningful. We have talked about these principles, but that's not the end. We still continue. Now, as a group, the philosophy requires you to become a critical thinker. Critical thinking is what we need to see within the group. We need to encourage objectives. We need to analyze situations. We need to evaluate ourselves if possible. We need to come with constructive criticisms so that everyone can realize that we are applying critical thinking to find an amicable solution that will take us forward to the shared goal. Our focus in everything that we do is to the shared goal and its objectives. And once we achieve that, then we are done. We are done. That's what we set ourselves to achieve. Another principle is personal growth. When we work together on a personal scale, everyone must demonstrate growing up. Everyone in the group must demonstrate growing up. Why? Because it is our duty to foster an environment that supports growth within the team members. How do we support growth? By continuously learning different things, by developing ourselves, by seeing development happening within the group, by seeing self-improvement. You cannot be part of the group and not become developed. Self-development, it's a requirement because you are part of us. If you are a person who did not believe in self-development, as you come willingly to work within this group, the working together philosophy pushes you to self-development, so that you can come back and add value into the team. So everyone, it's a requirement to add value into the team. Responsibility becomes another principle. We are all responsible. We are all responsible in this team. We are all responsible for the shared goal. We are all responsible. And that is why when people find you alone in different corners or different environments, when you address them, you say we. You don't say I. You say we, because you are part of a team that has shared goal. So wherever you go, you represent the team. So you cannot say I. The correct language there is we. This is what we are doing. This is where we are. This is what we have achieved. Egoism, you remove it from your vocabulary. Because egoism in a shared vision is destructive. Solidarity becomes another principle. You must embrace unity. You have to embrace unity as part of the group. You are not alone. We are together in this thing. We are united in this thing. We recognize a shared goal and shared interest. That is why solidarity becomes a principle that we don't have to lose. Another principle is open-minded. You've got to be an open-minded person when you come within a group. You've got to be open-minded. There are things that at times you'll have to compromise. Because you must embrace diversity. You must embrace diversity. And you must be prepared to listen to other people's ideas. And that's why you got to be open-minded. Because all of us, it's our duty to foster a culture of inclusivity. We are not alone in this thing. We are together in it. So open-mindedness, it's another principle. Another principle is empathy. We get to empathize with group members. We've got to strive to understand and appreciate the experiences we have in the group. The next principle as we are closing down, is beneficence. Beneficence means doing good to everyone. Doing good to everyone. Members in the team, members outside the team, doing good to every person. See yourself actively promoting the well-being and flourishing in that space to ensure that other people also, they are respected, they are honored, they are advised correctly. So do good. Doing good, it must not be limited to the team members only. We need to take it out of the team. Because as we do good to everybody, that is, the principle says to us, one good morning you'll wake up having achieved your shared goal. So it becomes crucial. Then justice is another principle. When you talk about justice, all team players need to uphold fairness, they need to uphold equality, they need to uphold impartiality in anything they do. And they've got to show interest in anything the group is doing. And that's how we can achieve justice. Now, veracity, trustfulness. Trustfulness is another quality. We need to be honest. We need to be transparent in all communications. To be truthfulness. Telling the truth must be a priority in the group. We cannot build anything with people who are untruthful. We can't build anything. Nothing stands with untruthful people. Fidelity is another principle. Now, fidelity simply means loyalty. When you have to be loyal, every team member is required to demonstrate commitment and dedication to the team and to the organization. Loyalty. We can move distance, we can remove mountains when all of us in the team become loyal to the team, loyal to anything we are doing, loyal to anything we say, loyal to anything we think about. Now that principle will make us move mountains. We have mentioned these principles because a principle is something that you have to live with, and you cannot change a principle. You've got to adhere to a principle so that tomorrow you become a better person. By embracing these principles, teams can foster collaboration and be productive in a work environment, and they can lead in any environment, and they can enhance productivity and creativity as well as success. Take these principles, join us, and become part of us as we foster, as we push this working together philosophy. Not working together, but working together philosophy. That is what will alleviate, that is what it will remove many barriers that we are faced with as God's people. Having said all this, what I've said, thank you.